So you're struggling with your relationships. I hear you. Let's rewrite your love story using the law of assumption and Neville Goddard's revision technique. Taking inspiration from Neville Goddard's lecture that he gave in 1954 titled The Pruning Shears of Revision. Today we're going to talk and focus specifically on how you can use this revision technique to instantly transform your relationships. Just like I've seen people do daily. I'll explain how you can do this step by step as soon as tonight. The same as we're doing in my Miracle Manifesting Academy membership. I started teaching this process about 2 weeks ago during our Monday Mastermind. And I'm making this video because we've seen such amazing results that I have to share it with you here because we're just crossing off miracle after miracle. And I'm going to share that with you. In this video, you're going to learn how just shifting a few assumptions are going to completely change your relationship instantly. Let's start with the core step-by-step process. And remember, you want to start using this immediately, as soon as tonight, to start seeing results in your relationships as fast as possible. I'll walk you through each step, explain to you exactly how to visualize, affirm, and embody the state. This process helps so many people that we're working with. In fact, I'm going to share one man's how it's working with his marriage to move them from separation to reconciliation. So step one, simple. Tonight and every night moving forward, identify the scenes of the day, the conversations of the day, the situations, the events, the circumstances, whatever it is that you wish could have gone differently, whatever went slightly negative, whatever you really didn't enjoy. I just simply want you to, step number one, identify the scene that you want to revise. I suggest you write this down somewhere or put it as a comment below so that you can track the results. If you don't document what you're trying to change, you're not going to have the proof for you later on down the road so you can remember, holy crap, I just totally did that and I saw results the very next day. So somewhere on your phone, here in the comment section, or in a journal, write down the scene that you're going to revise. Now, step two. Number two is you want to rewrite this scene as if it was ideal. Now, what does ideal mean? Now, here's where we got to go. You do want to have your ultimate vision, your ultimate ideal figured out. Who are you trying to be? What's the state you are wanting to manifest in your life, in your career, in your relationships? You want to know what that ideal is. That way, when you revise this scene from your relationship that didn't go the way you want it to go, when we say rewrite it according to the ideal you want to embody, figure out where you want your relationship to be right now. So when you revise the scene, you have something to align it with. You must align your stories and your narrative with the ultimate vision so you can actually manifest it right now, especially in your relationships. If you don't know where you want your relationship to go, you're not going to be able to be very successful with this step. So rewrite the scene the way you ideally vision your relationship. Number three, repeat the scene over and over again, adding all the vivid sensory detail of true reality. If you have a situation when you're going to bed and you're thinking about the argument you had with your lover a few hours ago or the day before, it's in your mind. If you catch yourself saying, I can't stop thinking about this, my mind is spiraling, and you're getting a bodily reaction, yeah, you want to do this process. Rewrite that scene over and over again until you can replace the scene. Remember, we can't get rid of it because all reality is finished. You're choosing the ideal vision, the new reality, the reality you want to embody because you play all the parts. You want to identify and make it as real as possible. You want to make it so real you forget that the scene ever really happened. That happened with one of my clients. She had 4 things that she was revising. 3 of them happened so quickly, she can't even remember what the memory was. The fourth one, we're still working on it and we're getting some headway because that's the one that was heavier. So there's some fine tuning here. But my point is, make it as real as possible so that you don't have any excuses anymore to keep remembering the old story that didn't go the way you wanted it to go. And once you've repeated step 3 over and over again with all the vivid tunes of reality, then I want you to accept it and forget it, or move on to the next one, or simply go to sleep tonight. I want to share an example of one of my clients that was manifesting results with this technique so fast, he had to make adjustments every single day. So here's this guy who hires me because he's going through a divorce. It's already been filed. We have all these kinds of issues. Through working on himself and manifesting and getting in touch with his inner dialogue, they're no longer heading towards a divorce. They've dropped all that. Now we're working on integration, from separation to back to cohabitating, back with the kids, back with the wife, and we're seeing great results. However, there was a third party in the situation that is influencing where they are at in the reconciliation. Everything is going so well on so many fronts, but there is this third party who keeps putting their 2 cents in, and it's keeping the marriage from getting back on track. Now, since we know we can't change anything outside of ourselves, all we can do is change ourselves. So he did the revision process just as I outlined less than 2 weeks ago during our Monday night masterclass. And he had results the very next day. And when I talked to him about it, I said, what'd you do? He said, I did the process that very same night. He revised conversations that involved him, his wife, and this third party. He rewrote them so it turned out to the highest ideal for himself and all parties. What a wonderful example of unconditional living and unconditional love for all parties. He did this process and results the very next day. So he said, I had to change what I was revising every single day for almost a full week because it was working. And that goes to the big example. You want to learn this process really at the beginner level every single night before you go to bed, right? Step 1, identify the scene. Step 2, rewrite the scene. 3, repeat it, make it as vivid as possible so it becomes real for you. Once you have proof, just like this gentleman, now he's revising daily, revising throughout the day. And in other videos, I'm going to really go in depth into the actual lecture by Goddard, The Pruning Shears of Revision, where it explains so many more details than we're going to cover today. But you really are the gardener pruning on a daily basis. And it's beautiful to see the work that manifests so quickly just with consistency. So he did this process, saw the proof, came back to the class, shared the proof. Now everyone's inspired to do the process, and he's doing it every single day and seeing better and better results. And he is feeling fantastic. And here is a direct quote that really exemplifies the work that he and I'm encouraging you to do directly from the Pruning Shears of Revision. Now, this is how we do it. At the end of my day, I review the day. I don't judge it. I simply review it. I look over the entire day, all the episodes, all the events, all the conversations, all the meetings, and then I see it clearly in my mind's eye. I rewrite it. I rewrite it and make it conform to the ideal day I wish I had experienced. I take scene after scene and rewrite it, revise it, and having revised my day, then in my imagination, I relive that day, the revised day, and I do it over and over in my imagination until this seeming imagined state begins to take on, to me, the tones of reality. It seems that it's real, that I actually did experience it, and I've found from my experience that these revised days, if really lived, will change my tomorrows. This quote perfectly highlights the approach that my client took when using Neville Goddard's revision technique to save his marriage and further work on the reconciliation. So I know that if the results are happening in this higher conflict situation, they are going to happen in yours too. The key is consistently prune your garden with your pruning shears of revision. Now, the third thing I want to share with you today, and again, this is why I'm doing this in a group, to really find out what is working for some, what isn't working for others. And so I have collected many common pitfalls that I'm going to share with you now in the video so you understand what to look out for, so you can A, get ahead of it, or B, if you've tried this process before, which if you're watching this video, you probably have tried it or heard of it before. You're already a law of assumption or revision fan, but maybe it's not working for you. Take a look at some of these common mistakes that could be getting in your way. Number one is inconsistency with the practice. If you're a real gardener in a real garden, you're going to have to work on that garden daily, which is, again, the tenet of any manifesting process, anything to do with manifesting, improving yourself, self-improvement, anything metaphysical. You got to be consistent at it, whether it's a 3D aspect or a spiritual aspect. So you want to do the process every single day. If you do it once or twice, or if you're doing it for a situation that happened long ago that's heavily charged without already believing the process is going to work, you might be running into a challenge, right? I want you to pick simple things from the same day. Build your proof for yourself. Build a new assumption before you start tackling harder or maybe distant revisions you want to do. Start small and focus on consistency. Build your manifesting muscle. Number two is just simply doubting the process. So if you are already going into a process thinking, I've already tried this one or many others similar, and you're already thinking it's not going to work, but I'll do it anyway, it's not going to work. You want to come in with some level of belief. That's why I'm saying start small so you got nothing to lose. You might manifest quicker on the things you really don't care about, and that just proves it to you, and then you can start using it on the bigger ticket items. Starting with a place of expecting belief this time, in this moment, in this space and time, is very beneficial. So don't go into a process bringing all the baggage or memories of the past, giving you a reason to not believe it's going to work. That's number two. Number three, neglecting the end state. This is so, I made this mistake many times before. Think about this. Yes, you're going to identify the scene. You're going to revise it. You're going to make it very vivid and real. Let's make sure we don't forget that you must feel it. You must embody it. You must assume the state of that ideal vision as if it's already manifested. So don't play the scene where you and your husband or you and your wife, it went very well, but you're not excited. You don't feel like this is a beautiful moment. Embody it. That makes it real. God will not be mocked. You can't fake this stuff. Number four is reacting to the current manifestation. This is so common. You make a decision. You're excited. You believe 100%, I'm going to do this no matter what. And then sometime shortly after that, something is going to come up in your 3D experience, your current reality, that's going to be the reason why you say it's not possible. It's too real. It's already happened. It's too late. This has to change outside of me. That's not going to work. It never has and it never will. So you don't want to keep reacting to your current reality. When you have your reactions, try to have an awareness. React less and less, shorter periods of time, less extreme intense emotions. Those reactions are manifesting. They're counteracting the work we're trying to do with this process. So stop looking at your current reality. Stop looking at your partner, assuming it can't work. And number five, with a bit of caution, you want to have a healthy level of expectation. Think of detached expectation. So you don't want to expect instant results that you're attached to that make you angry when you look for the change to happen. You want to expect the instant manifestation within yourself. The way you feel is what matters. The way you're forgiving, the way you're forgetting, the way you're letting go. That's what happens instantly. And when that happens, it will take effect in the 3D. Your job is to persist and assume it has taken effect without looking at your partner to decide if it worked or didn't. Keep it focused on you. Now, why are we doing this process specifically? Well, I introduced this process to a Miracle Manifesting Academy because Neville Goddard himself, when we read the lecture together in my next video, he says this may be the most important, most powerful technique I have brought to you. It is so important to tend the garden of God. So I introduced this process to my group so that we could find the results, find the proof. We're seeing miracle after miracle. The men, the women, the ones going through a divorce, the ones who are trying to save their marriage, the ones who are trying to work on their new relationship, everyone is seeing results. And this is exactly why I created a community. Because I've been doing this for a few years here, and I see amazing miracles in my own life and in my clients' lives. I've seen people destined for divorce have full reconciliation. I've seen people who are fighting like cats and dogs have the most amicable divorce you've ever heard of because they just chose to manifest it from within. But it's so different when I'm the only one that gets to experience it and see it in them and themselves in their own life. But when we have a group of people who are all committing to doing the same process and implementing in our own lives and our own relationships, it takes on a whole new meaning. We're all breaking through together and we're coming back and saying, hey, Anthony, this is what's not working for me. Then we fine tune it. We find out what you're doing that's getting in the way of allowing it to work. And it's usually, hint, hint, we're just making it too complicated. At the beginning of the video, I get it very simply. 1, 2, 3. Do not overcomplicate it. That's where we get in our own way. And I do it myself regularly. So don't do that. Make it simple so it's repeatable. Get the results and keep going. So I'm so glad that we're doing this as a group because it's undeniable when someone sees the results happen within 24 hours or a few days after they just heard that person is going through that challenge. It's really inspiring. Let's recap. So today we have discussed the amazing, powerful process from Neville Goddard from his lecture titled The Pruning Shears of Revision. So we've learned and gone over the actual revision process step by step. We've talked about individuals are using this to save their relationships and their marriages right now within a daily practice instantly. And as the time of this recording of this video, it's all happened within the last 2 weeks. And we're getting more and more examples of miracles coming in. And we've talked about the common areas to be careful, to have some awareness, any common pitfalls, especially in this process. And finally, we've talked about the power of doing these spiritual awakening, law of assumption, revision processes in a community of like-minded individuals all working on a shared vision to have a spiritual connected relationship. Whether you're separated, whether you're divorced, whether you are newly in a relationship, doing this work on your own has its benefits, but doing it in a group makes it really impossible to deny. And we're all here to renew, inspire, and rise together. I'm going to leave you with this question. What aspects of your life could benefit from you using the law of revision from Neville Goddard? How might changing your assumptions tonight transform your relationships tomorrow? Remember, change begins with you. If you're eager to dive in more to this process from Neville Goddard, then stay tuned for the very next video right up here where we dive deep into the actual lecture, going line by line, where I pull out the quotes and explain it in simple language so that you have more reason to believe and try this process. And also, if you are ready to join a community of like-minded individuals using this process and many others, if you're ready to join the Miracle Manifesting Academy, the membership, find the link below, get on the calendar, and let's get you started today. Thank you for hanging out with me today. This is Anthony Cortino, Sacred Cobra, reminding you that you are sacred, you are worthy, and you are love. Cheers. We'll see you next time.